My husband and I have 3 girls, and we decided on Valentine's Day 2019 not to have any more children. We talked about it, and he decided to undergo a vasectomy, which I was happy about. He told me a week later that he had had the surgical procedure. In fact, he stayed home for 2 days, nursing his wound. Meanwhile, a doctor friend already told me it's just about 2 minutes pain one man would feel after the permanent contraception. But not my husband. It took him 2 days to heal, and within that time, I prepared all the meals he asked for. I went off the pill, and we've been having great sex until last week when I found out that I'm pregnant. My husband insisted that it wasn't possible and said it's a miracle. I went to the hospital to find the doctor who he said performed the surgery. He said my husband never showed up. My husband cancelled the appointment due to fear. I confronted my husband about it, and he confessed that he lied because he really needs a son. Sisters, who does that? I'm so angry, I can't even look at him. I have no plans for another baby. My life is finally picking up at work, and he does this to me. Is it okay to also abort? Please help me decide.
That's a heavy story. Ladies,
Wow.
who wants to
Where
go?
do we even start from?
Exactly. Where do you even
Betrayal.
begin?
Start from?
Just from betrayal, man. Because that's what this is.
Wow. You see, sometimes I wish some men out there, not all men, would appreciate what we go through as women. You know, the entire childbirth process. You know, your body completely goes through like a different phase. This woman has given you 3 beautiful children. There's nothing wrong if you can't have a son. Doesn't matter these days. Like
It shouldn't.
And I feel so bad for her because she's like, yes, her life is starting to pick up. I mean, if you've been a mother before, I mean, Rosie can, I mean, we can all.
Don't let me
like,
start.
I know, right? You know, some mothers literally take time off work because they know the children didn't
need
ask
to,
to be here. So they're giving away their time. Meanwhile, this man, he had nothing to do with pushing the baby out of his. Anyway, he had nothing. He had no idea what it felt like, whether it was a natural birth, whether it was a C-section. Anyway, my point is, can men out there be a bit more sensitive to women out there? And when it comes to this whole sex and contraception, contraceptives to use, coincidentally, I had a conversation with a friend at work who was asking me what contraceptive I'm on and what I use. Because nowadays there's so many options. And I said to her, I don't use any. When I'm unsafe, I'll use a condom or not have sex at all. And technically, my husband actually has my period app
So
on
he
his
knows,
phone,
yeah.
and he's so meticulous. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Had it not been for him, I probably would have had like 10 kids. But anyways, so we go by that because personally, I don't feel like this is my personal conviction. I don't feel like I want anything to sort of disrupt my female biological system.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put anything inside me. But this is a conversation we've had as a couple. So we know, okay, these are the steps that we need to take, especially because we don't want to have any more kids. So it goes back to the conversation you had with him.
Right.
But he had no right whatsoever to do that to you.
Yeah.
And I wish, because you said he spent 2 days at home recovering. Meanwhile, it was supposed to have taken about 2 minutes. I wish, had you known that, I don't know whether you had access to that information, you would have told him to always wear a condom.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that alone, having that information alone was power, was like some kind of insight as to, did this man actually do it? Maybe should I go and check out there and find out whether he actually did it? And
I don't think she had that information then.
No, she didn't.
Because you see, when you think of
She didn't.
surgery, all you think about is a long time to recover. There's nobody who goes through surgery and just gets up and walks away. You
Yeah,
understand?
exactly.
That's the mentality. So if this is a particular surgery that requires only a couple of minutes to, She probably didn't know. She probably found out after she realized she was pregnant. She's asking so many questions, and things are now playing her mind. But you see, my problem with this thing is that when it comes to pregnancies, you know, before I got married, I used to say, oh, if I ever do get married, I want 4 kids. After one, if I had my own way, I would have stopped at 1. You understand? Now, the body changing is daunting, but is the least of your worries. The psychological trauma, is the baby going to be whole? Is the baby going to be complete? I almost had a premature baby with the first one. The second one, I don't want to say the story because it's, my heart actually stopped. Literally stopped for my second baby. So and I had to resuscitate it. So having a baby is not rocket science for everybody. So there's a lot of things that happen to the woman when they're having a baby. So most of the time, when the woman has given you 3 gifts and you have discussed, look, if you're not comfortable, tell her, look, I want a 4th one. Let her know your stand.
Yeah, but don't be sneaky
that you want a 4th one.
Yeah.
You see, if you let her know your stand, she won't be happy about it, but at least she knows your stand. And we women, like I keep saying that, look, there's no woman who loves her husband and doesn't innately want to make her husband happy. So maybe she's not happy about the 4th one, but she might reconsider her stance over the period. If she knows that, look, this is something that's so dear to my husband's heart, let me just go one more time and see what's up. But when you lie, like you went for an appointment, you actually went for surgery, then you came back. Now when you came back, you stayed at home for 2 days, and that 2 days you made her a slave for a recovering gentleman.
Thank you.
Drinking soup,
and I'm sure like, I want a bit more pepper. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. His feet were up. Charlie, I can't do this. I can't do that. So the whole 2 days you were playing sick. It makes you an actor, a professional actor in the home. And my question is that, what else have you been lying about in our marriage? You understand? And it's so depressing. And you wait, let's say, okay, it's not very easy for a man to want to go through a vasectomy because for them it's like, you know. Yeah. So let's assume you even lied about it just to make her comfortable. It means that now you should be guided.
Right. To make sure she doesn't.
So maybe on hindsight, then you go Olivia's husband's route. Pick a timetable and make sure that it doesn't happen when it's not supposed to happen. You understand? Then that way you are keeping your thing intact, just in case it is, but you are not putting her in that stress. You understand? Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. So for me, the issue is not even about her being pregnant. My issue is about the lies, the deceit, the acting, the excessive acting to make believe, the betrayal, all of that. And you see, for me, after 2 kids, look, my body is so deformed, it's crazy. I mean, Jessica knows me for the longest time here. I was like a toothpick. If anybody told me that today I'll be wearing the dress as I was wearing, I'll tell you, you're lying. You know? And it's crazy. That psychological stress. You have clothes in your wardrobe you can't fit in anymore. Even the ones you can fit in, your hip is rather on your middle, and then your hip has now become your waist. I mean, it's a crazy thing to watch in the mirror. So you're working day in, day out, working hard, dieting, exercising to get back on track. So she's probably just about getting back on track. Her body is just trying to get into shape, and voila, she has to go through the process again. Psychologically, she's not in a good place. Yeah. So I wouldn't, for instance, all of us here are not active. We wouldn't go for abortions, but I wouldn't be surprised if she did go for it.
I don't know. So the biggest thing for me here, I mean, I'll have to 100% agree with you, Rosie. The biggest thing for me here is the betrayal. The fact that you were so meticulous in your lie. Saying you're going to the hospital, saying you're recovering from surgery, saying she's nursing you, you've had to take 2 days off. I mean, let's be real. Guys don't like the idea of having a vasectomy. I haven't met a single guy who's been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a vasectomy, blah, blah, blah. No, I've never heard that. I understand psychologically. I understand the attachment, so I get it. So I don't even see why you're not able to discuss your fears with your partner. Yeah, so even the fact that there's a lack of communication, there's a lack of openness is already a problem. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here. What he's done is so reckless because you've just played with somebody's life. You've planted a seed within somebody and you've forced the person to grow a baby. What if, first of all, she has another girl, your plans failed, and what if she has no attachment to the child? What will you do then? So, you know what? I mean, everybody who knows me well knows that I'm pro-choice. I would much rather you go and not have this baby, not see this baby to full term, than to have a child and punish this child for the rest of his or her life because you did not want them here. I mean, we're women. We know how much our hormones can affect the way we function. I can't imagine being forced to carry a baby to full term. I can't imagine if my partner right now tricked me and got me pregnant. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine?
I would never trust him again.
I would never. I
never
mean,
trust him again.
Where does our relationship go from here? You planned a lie, like you even stayed at home. That's so messed up on so many levels. So for me, your relationship is in trouble, and if she decides not to carry the baby, like I said, I mean, I totally understand her.
And to add to what you're saying, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even help with regards to the kids, their homework, they're bathing them, they're up and down. Like, that stress alone is on a different level.
You never know.
And we haven't even spoken about postnatal depression.
Thank
yeah.
you. We haven't even spoken about the 9 months. 9 months is close to a year.
You see, but listen, the 9 months is the easiest of the whole process of making a baby. Look, as soon as the baby drops and your life comes to an rock bottom, and aside that, when you suffer postnatal depression, it's on a whole new level.
Imagine postnatal depression when you didn't even want to have a baby.
Oh, that's messed up.
Anyone in the audience wants to weigh in on this? Yes, let me speak to you.
Yeah.
Your name is?
Nonehi.
Nonehi. All right.
The betrayal bit has been said a lot, and I'm not going to dwell on it again. But like she said, what happens if it's a fourth girl? And let's say the woman will carry it to term. Because abortion, you have to check with your doctors and yourself with your faith and decide whether you want to go for it or not. But even if she decides to sacrifice, because it's marriage, we forgive a lot. You have to forgive every morning if you want to keep your sanity.
Right. Yes.
So let's say she forgives, and then she has the baby, and it's a boy. The man will be happy. He will be head and over hill.
Yeah.
We might even name the baby Miracle Vase or whatever.
That's a possibility.
You never know.
But then he will have to do a lot to mend his marriage, to gain back her trust, to make her feel good again, to help her, because then he will have 2 babies on hand. The woman will have to come in all out and reinvent herself, learn to forgive again, and learn to trust him again. And for me, I would say in future, never allow another human being to have your destiny in your hands. If you don't want a baby again, you take the precaution. You make the decision. It's sad that they are a couple and they decided that on this call he was going to do it. It's just, he's a baby. Come on, you don't go to the hospital and you lie and you take all the nice light soup and all of that. Come on, but you have to forgive and let go.
Yeah, that's true.
13 years in marriage, I know that you have to forgive every day. Otherwise, you'll be upset, you'll be angry. Yeah, everything will change. So a lot befalls now on the man who have to gain back his trust. In fact, we'll organize sister pacification. We have to pacify this lady.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, just a quick one, and I'll go to the Holy Book.
Okay.
That how can 2 work together except they agree? Everything has to be agreed upon, and once you have agreed upon it, I mean, we are not God. Sometimes you agree and you realize, oh, I really didn't want to agree to this. Come back, you lay it on the table, you discuss it. But then on the abortion bit, again, how can 2 work together except they agree? Go and discuss it with your husband. I mean, there are ways to find out discuss the abortion. Definitely, because we are on 2 different wavelengths now. You want to have the child, I don't want to have the child. There has to be an agreement, because if I forcibly go through with an abortion, there'll be a problem. If I continue to carry the pregnancy, then there will be all the problems that you've discussed. So there definitely has to be a consensus.
There can be an intentional miscarriage.
I mean, you didn't discuss when you planted the seed, but you want to discuss the abortion.
But then again, there are so many women who live with a lot of guilt when they have an abortion.
For me, I don't agree with it. But
so it depends on where the woman is also at. I wouldn't encourage her to abort the baby. I wouldn't. It's hard, but you never know
what
the child is destined to be,
Yeah.
what blessing the child will be to you in the future.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't encourage you to abort. But yes, by all means, let him know that what he did wasn't funny. Like she's saying, he's a baby.
Right.
Like he has to. There's some men who just grow up with, in terms of numbers, like they're 40, they're 50, but they're kids. They're
Yeah.
not mature.
Yeah.
But let him know that this is what it is. You can't do this on your own. You need help, and he shouldn't do that again.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, for me, the whole betrayal thing is big. Like, if
too
I
big.
was this woman, I would actually be thinking my marriage was over. That's how big a deal it is to me. Because if I don't want to have any more kids, I think, and you lie to me that you've actually had a vasectomy, and I go along with you only to find out it's a lie. For me, that's a huge deal breaker. So this woman she's in a really tight spot. You know, I don't know what she's going to do. I'm not going to ask you to abort it either. But you have to take that decision, because at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to have an extra mouth to feed. I don't know what kind of support your husband gives you, but Charlie, right?